This. What?
I was like, oh, I thought we were getting ready to start like beatboxing.
I am never doing that shit.
You had a beat happening. I was getting ready to like bust in with like.
No.
This is the bittersweet and twisted.
No! We'll not be doing that kind of foolishness.
Okay.
You know why?
Why?
Because this is the Bittersweet and Twisted Records podcast with Vince and Bobbie. I am Vince.
And I'm Bobbie.
And we are back with episode 7. Lucky number 7.
I was getting ready to say the same thing.
Because you're a mind reader.
I am. You knew it.
I said whether I say copycat or mind reader, but I hadn't said it yet, so you couldn't be a copycat if I hadn't said it, unless you were a mind reader.
That's true.
All right, so we're going to continue on with what we were saying in episode 666.
Yes.
That not every episode is going to be a Treasures from the Bargain Bin.
Correct.
Sometimes we'll just talk about records that we like. I mean, not saying we're not going to do Treasures from the Bargain Bin.
True.
Again.
We're just going to try to involve more and open up our listening base and resource base to different varieties. And sometimes it might just be some albums that we just really love. Such as
an album that coincidentally I got out of the bargain bin for $1.
Nice.
And I had been after an original pressing of this album for a while. I mean, there has been a couple reissues, including one about a month and a half ago.
Oh.
But I finally have a first pressing.
Yay! We love first pressings.
As beat up as it is.
It is. With its little hole in it.
His little promo hole punch in the corner. And all the edges are all worn. And the inner sleeves are worn. And it's got multiple marks on it. It plays fairly well. It's loved, but you're loved. You're loving that you have it. I did my little high pitch.
He did.
When I saw it in the...
I wasn't with you.
Yes, you were.
Was I with you on this one?
Oh my God. You don't remember a thing about this record? And the record you're doing, you remember that incorrectly?
I don't. I just remember. I mean, you just did a little squeal the other day, too. So I was...
Okay, well, what did I find the other day? Probably... I think you're making up. I didn't squeal the other day.
That CD. You found a CD. Yes,
what?
You did.
What?
It was... Oh, no. Stop. It was...
What? Ooh, what?
This... Come on. The singer... Shoot, which one? You found it when we were up in Jersey, Wednesday, on your birthday.
Hold on.
You know which one I'm talking about.
No, I don't know which one you're talking about. Well, that was from today.
He's got to look in his collection. It was when the singer was still known as... Oh! Yeah, and you did your little squeal.
I didn't make the sound.
You went...
I went... Bobbie.
Yes.
Bobbie.
So it wasn't his squeal, but it was a... And I heard it from down the aisle.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't my squeal that I made when I found this signed Fates Warning record.
That's true, but you were really excited for this.
The one the CD I found in the $2 CD section was the self-titled album from Freaks, Freax.
Yes.
From, what year was this?
90s.
I feel like it was 99. I don't see it here. But it's an official CDR.
Yeah.
And it is of note because it is a project that Keith Caputo sang on. And if you know who that is, you will know that Keith Caputo is Mina Caputo.
Yes.
Of Life of Agony.
Yes, Life of Agony.
And this is not an easy album to find.
Yes.
And I love it when we go in record stores and we find super rare stuff like this.
Yes.
In great shape. I mean, the case was broken. I replaced the case. And it still has a crack in the front.
But that's all right. But it was still everything else. I mean, the CDs look great. The CD's
in great shape.
Yeah.
And I haven't listened to it yet, but supposedly it's like an industrial thing that Caputo had done. So, yeah, I was pretty happy to find that. But thanks for the complete sidetrack on that one.
Yes, sidetrack.
But no, I can't believe you can't remember where we found this one.
I can't. I have a horrible memory.
I found the In Excess 12-inch for you this day, too.
Oh, was this in Frederick?
No, this was in PA.
Oh.
I'm not going to give the name of the place because I don't want to give away my honey spots.
Yeah, we're not giving that away.
But I'm not saying Frederick because we don't live in Frederick.
Right.
But no, you got In Excess record today and that day, and you got something else too.
You have such a great memory for those things.
Because you were looking up top, and I always go the cheap shit.
Yeah.
And this was in like the first bin in the very back, and I was like, oh, yeah. Because I've been after a first print of this. I don't give a shit that it's all beat up, and I don't give a shit that it doesn't play perfect.
I don't think you said who it is.
I know, I'm building up to it.
Oh, okay, you're building up.
I'm building up to it. Actually, I was building up to it until you interrupted with the Mina Caputo CD.
Sorry.
But anyway, we love Life of Agony.
True.
Life of Agony is awesome. We had tickets for Life of Agony, but
we did.
COVID fucked that up.
Damn COVID.
Because we had tickets, and then it got pushed back, and then canceled.
Yeah, and canceled.
And I've seen Life of Agony back when Mina was still Keith.
That's very cool.
And they were incredible.
Yeah, I really want to see that.
And I'm probably the only Life of Agony fan that's going to say this, but Broken Valley is my favorite Life of Agony record. I love that one. Love it. Anyway, so back to this record.
Yes, back to it.
Now this, like I was saying, this serves two purposes. It is a treasure from the bargain bin.
It does.
And it's a record that I love a lot.
Yes.
And it's a record I think a lot of people have forgotten about, even though it sold a shitload of albums.
Okay.
And that album is Queensryche's 1990 release, Empire.
Nice.
I love this goddamn record.
I know, and you love the band. I love the band as well. And so
I remember getting this on cassette the week it came out. I've had it on CD a couple times. I have the 2003 reissue of a couple bonus tracks. There's a new box set that came out this summer. It's got like the album. It's got it's got like a disc of B-sides, got a couple live CDs, and it has a DVD.
Oh.
And they did a re-release of Operation Mindcrime the same day. Same type of release. They saying that the Operation Mindcrime release is the definitive release. Bullshit.
And
I say it's not, because it does not include the single edit of Eyes of a Stranger on it.
There you go.
No Queensryche Best Of uses the single edit. They always use the full album version. And I've got the single edit on the 12-inch promo single, and I have the UK CD single, which has a slightly different radio single edit.
If it doesn't have the seal of Vince Crocodile, it doesn't have a seal.
Yeah. It just drives me up a fucking wall that none of the Queensryche Best Of albums, because like 5 or 6 of them use the single edit of Eyes of a Stranger, and the box set doesn't use the single edit. What the fuck?
So, question.
I'm sorry, I'm starting to rant.
You are starting to rant. But I do have
Vince takes a sidetrack.
Yeah, he does. But I do have a question, because some of our listeners might not be vinyl collectors like us, or that into collecting older vinyl. Maybe they're just like the newer stuff. You said this is a promotional copy, and it has the promotional hole. Now, why did they put holes where the promotion, like usually it would be where a promotional sticker,
a lot of time, they usually
labeling.
There's always different ways they mark promos. Either they're like a gold stamp that says for promotion only, or usually the hole punch will be over the UPC. Yeah. So that record stores won't resell it for a price.
Okay, gotcha.
But the UPC on this one is dead center on the back, so you can't hole punch it. Okay. Easily, because they'd have to pull the records out of the sleeve.
Well, they would have to do that anyway.
No, it doesn't touch the record.
It doesn't touch the record.
It's in the corner.
So they did that as to market that it was a promotional copy.
And so it's really beat up. But like I said, for $1.
So now, what's so? Other than being special that it's the promotional, and so therefore it was before the even actual first pressing.
Well, it was the same time. Okay. A lot of times people will like promos, because since a lot of times the promos are available before the retail versions. Right. Well, in this case, a lot of times shit like this, it's the same time they just took a retail one and hole punched it, but they're closer to the original master. Okay. So you get a first pressing, it's closer to the original master. Right. You get like a fifth pressing, it might not. It's further down from the original master. Yeah. So it might not be as good sound. It could be same good sound quality, but it might not be.
And that's where I think you have just as vinyl lovers in general.
I felt I'm out of breath now. I got a little excited about Queensryche.
You did. But what the difference is some of the vinyl collectors. Some vinyl collectors aren't fans of like newer releases of old stuff, and some are fans. But
a previous owner of this was a lady, and I can tell because of the handwriting on the back, where they circled Silent Lucidity and wrote "skip slightly" and an exclamation point.
Oh, Silent Lucidity.
And that's lady handwriting.
Such a good song.
And you know what's funny? It doesn't skip.
Oh.
It doesn't skip. Some other shit on here skips.
Maybe it was her record player at the time. Yeah.
But
Such a great song.
But it has this red piece of tape on the spine. I'm really feeling like the person who had this was like a DJ or something.
That's right, because a lot of times they mark on when they have them on file, and they have to go look for their album that they're going to play.
So it's beat up, but I love it. Love this album. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Okay, well, tell us why you love this so much, and a little bit more about this, because...
Did I mention that I love it?
You did, and I like the album as well, but please tell us why.
I remember. Let me tell you a little sidetrack.
All right, tell me a little story.
Vince is getting sidetracked.
Back in days.
You know, that's why I'm doing the thing.
Yeah,
I'm doing the thing from Eastbound and Down when Kenny Powers was on the sports talk show.
Oh, yeah.
And he would do that part where he interrupted. They're saying, he'd be like, Kenny's cutting in. And he would do the scissors with his fingers.
Yes.
So, Vince is sidetracking. Yes. But I still do the finger, because even the scissors doesn't mean anything of sidetracking.
No, not at all.
We need to figure out
cutting in. But it's just us, so I guess you're not cutting in.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Anywho's the food. Okay. So, Queensryche Empire.
Yes.
Released in the United States on EMI USA Records on August 20th, 1990.
Okay.
And as I said a little bit ago in my rambling,
it's been reissued.
Have I bored you already?
No, I'm sorry. It's just been reissued.
It was reissued in 2003, 2010, and 2021.
Okay.
Now, Queensryche formed in Bellevue, Washington, Bellevue, Washington, 1981. They had early on, they had a European metal sound. They were inspired by Iron Maiden and Judas Priest.
Yes.
But you had Jeff Tate on vocals, who was very unique at the time. He's still very distinctive vocalist.
Yes, absolutely.
And as a result, Jeff has inspired quite a few progressive metal and power metal band singers over the years.
Absolutely.
And they were very creative in the early stuff. And I remember reading the interview with guitarist Chris DeGarmo once. He said that Northwest U.S. had really good weed at the time. So.
And what did that have to do with anything?
They were talking about the lyrics and stuff.
So
they were stoned.
Oh, the better the weed, the better their lyrics were?
The more weird.
Fun. Okay, interesting.
So the classic lineup of Queensryche was guitarist Chris DeGarmo.
Yeah.
Vocalist Jeff Tate.
Yes.
Guitarist Michael Wilton.
Okay.
Bassist Eddie Jackson, and drummer Scott Rockenfield.
Nice.
And in 1983, they released their self-titled EP. And later the same year, the band signed with EMI Records, and they re-released the EP. Because first it was on an indie label that their managers had formed.
Yes.
Just with the purpose of releasing that. And then 1984, Queensryche released their first full-length album, The Warning, which I think that's the album that DeGarmo was referring to when he said they had really good weed.
Oh, okay.
And it charted number 61 in the U.S., and they toured with Kiss and Iron Maiden to support it.
I could see that lineup, and that would have been an amazing concert to see.
Yeah. And in 86, Queensryche released their second full-length album, Rage for Order, and they toured with Ronnie James Dio.
Oh, another fantastic lineup.
And the result is that in 86, Dio also put together the Hearing Aid Project, which was a fundraiser. I think it was for homeless children, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay.
And so it had all these like 80s metal people on it together, guitarists and singers, and Jeff was asked to partake in it, and he's one of the featured vocalists on it.
Oh, nice.
And they released a cover of Canadian singer Lisa Dalbello's "Gonna Get Close to You." And we were in the store the other day, and they had that Dalbello record you showed me.
Oh, okay.
It was a promo, but the cover was so beat to shit.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get it. If it had been better shape, I would have gotten it because she's incredible.
Yeah.
I think she still makes music too, so she's really cool. And in 1988, Queensryche released the Operation Mindcrime album,
Okay.
which was a concept album about junkies, brainwashing, and political assassinations. And Jeff's lyrics took on a more anti-establishment tone, and the music was more raw and less European power metal like the previous releases.
Okay.
And sales were unfortunately slow at first.
Okay.
And the album wasn't even doing as well as Rage for Order had done, which wasn't that great.
Right.
So they went out on their management, put them out on tour with Def Leppard. They came home, album sales hadn't increased. They went out for 9 months across Europe and America with Metallica. Came home, no album sales. And the record label was like, look, this album's dead. You made this concept record, no one's buying it. We're going to have to put you back in the studio.
Uh-oh.
And they were bummed because they put so much effort in this record.
Yeah.
And so an executive at programming at MTV contacted their management and said, I love this record. Why didn't you guys make a video? If you made a video, I would play it.
Yeah.
So the band, the label, and the manager were like, oh shit, we got to make a video for something.
Well,
so
this is the time when everybody was making videos,
yeah, so
and
it's
that's
weird.
what got
It's
you
weird
out
that
there.
like a year afterward they hadn't made a video for
Yeah.
it. It's weird. So they made a video for the song I mentioned earlier and ranted about, Eyes of a Stranger. And true to their word, MTV played it.
Yeah.
They played the shit out of it.
So did they play it not only on their Midnight Metal?
On Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball.
And then it got played on, people called it was on Dial MTV.
Okay.
And as a
Oh,
result...
when MTV actually had music.
Yeah. And as a result, Operation Mindcrime sold 500,000 copies in 2 weeks.
Wow.
After a year of not selling dick,
Yeah.
in 2 weeks...
That little bit of exposure is all you needed.
Yeah, hold on. I got to get a drink for a second. My mouth's... I'm totally animated this episode. I don't know. People are going to think I'm on speed or something.
That's just Jeff Tate.
It's just Jeff Taint.
Ha ha ha.
It's funny on my phone.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm texting about Jeff Tate.
It autocorrects to Taint.
Yeah, because I've called him Jeff Taint for years. It sounds like a slam, but I love Jeff Tate.
Yes, I know you do.
Okay, I've drank something.
Okay.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, wow.
That was a weak burp,
Wow.
so we should re-edit it
And just add it like a
add in a really good burp.
like an earth-shattering.
Yeah, like I did earlier.
did.
So, with the 500,000 copies of Operation Mindcrime sold,
Yeah,
the stage was set for the band to enter the mainstream.
absolutely.
And in 1990, Empire was released.
Yep.
Empire charted at number 7 on the U.S. Billboard album charts, number 13 in Canada. I'm sorry, I fucked up. Number 13 in the U.K.
Okay.
And it was top 20 in Canada, Japan, and Norway.
Wow.
And has sold over 3 million copies in the U.S.
What was it here?
Number 7.
Number 7. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I remember this just like hitting all the time on MTV, being played, and you'd hear it everywhere.
They released 6 singles
Wow.
from the album.
Well, I know one.
Yeah, we know one. So, the first single was the title track Empire, which on the U.S. mainstream rock charts went to number 22. Then the second single was Best I Can, which hit the U.S. mainstream rock chart at 28 and the U.K. singles chart at 36. Jet City Woman hit the U.S. mainstream rock chart at number 6. UK singles chart at 39.
I love that song.
And I don't have chart numbers for anybody listening or just another rainy night, but I do have numbers for their biggest hit, the song they're all known for,
What's that?
Silent Lucidity.
I don't think I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha! Just kidding. I love that song.
So Silent Lucidity went on the U.S. mainstream rock chart to number 1.
Yeah. It's so good.
The U.S. Billboard Hot 100 to number 9. Canada RPM chart, number 7. And the UK singles chart, it charted twice.
Wow.
First time, number 34. Then it got re-released and charted at 18.
Now, I do say, I remember this song, and I remember they played the shit out of it on the radio. I think it was 98 Rock at the time or something like that. And they played it so much that I actually began not to like it, and so
I got tired of it too for a lot of years.
I refused to listen to it. Anytime it came out, I'd skip it. But now, since I don't hear it very often, when I do hear it, I'm like, oh God, it's just such a good song.
Well, it was also nominated for 2 Grammy Awards in 1992.
Yeah. For
Best Rock Song and Best Rock Vocal Performance by a duo or a group.
That voice.
It didn't win.
Oh.
It's funny you say that voice, because I was telling you earlier today, my new obsession on YouTube is watching female vocal coaches watch and comment on old videos of Jeff Tate singing.
Yes, and then
fucking hilarious.
Because
these ladies are dripping.
Oh, they gotta change their undies.
Yeah, you could just the looks on their faces, and they keep pausing. The talk about the voice. It's like and you just listen to them, the look on their faces, and the sounds they make that sound.
Yeah.
It's just go on there, put in like Queensryche or Jeff Tate, and then like vocal coach.
Yeah.
Oh man, this shit's fucking hilarious. I can't stop watching them.
Oh, I'll have to.
But these I'm not gonna say anything else. Just go watch them.
Watch them.
They're hilarious.
All right, I'll have to watch one.
So Empire was a lot more polished and accessible than any of the previous albums, but they didn't back away from difficult topics. Like Best I Can covered gun violence. The Thin Line was about S&M and bondage.
Well then.
Della Brown was about homelessness.
Okay.
And the title track Empire was about the drug trade and law enforcement. Mm-hmm. And they had love songs.
They did.
Love songs like Jet City Woman.
Yeah.
Another Rainy Night Without You. And Hand on Heart.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Yes. Whereas Jeff Tate had guided the vision of the Operation Mindcrime album, Empire was largely the vision of guitarist Chris DeGarmo. And he, co-wrote everything or wrote everything by himself on Empire. And the Building Empires tour lasted 2 years and saw the band performing the Operation Mindcrime album in its entirety, plus a couple older tracks and all the hits from Empire. And the support acts on the North American dates were Suicidal Tendencies and Warrior Soul.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That would have been fun.
Oh, God,
that would have been a fun show.
Well, on the next tour they did, Typo were the openers. Yeah.
I had to go back. I couldn't remember what Jeff Tate looked like in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I had to go back and look at him because I just couldn't.
Well, that's 2000.
Yeah.
That's his first solo record.
I mean, so I totally...
Yeah, you're used to him now with the shaved head.
With the shaved head. But I do remember, as I'm looking now, like, I definitely remember him now in the 90s. Yeah. And I remember thinking he was quite
fetching.
Fetching, yes.
So, the band wouldn't release another album until 1994, as they spent a few years dealing with burnout and the effects of their newly increased fame and fortune.
Yeah, well, yeah, and plus being on tour for 2.5 years.
And so the resulting album, Promised Land, debuted at number 3 in the U.S. and eventually sold 1 million copies, which was a third of what the other one had sold. So record label wasn't happy. But this album...
Very Adam Antsy there. Yeah. Sorry, I was getting distracted by pictures of Jeff Tate.
So as I said earlier, that Jeff and Chris would flip who had the vision and led each album. So Promised Land, it was Jeff's turn again. And so he guided this album, and it dealt more of his disillusionment with fame and fortune. And the lyrics are a bit darker than they had been previously. And the follow-up album to Empire came out in 97. That was Here in the Now Frontier. And after that tour, guitarist Chris DeGarmo left. And Queensryche carried on with various replacement members until Jeff Tate was forced out in 2012, and that resulted in 2 years of courtroom fighting with the other members of Queensryche.
That's so. Why was he? I don't understand. Why was he?
His by this time,
because I feel like Jeff Tate is the band.
Well, after DeGarmo left, Tate has said that the band, because him and DeGarmo were the leaders.
Right.
He said so the band needed a leader.
Yeah.
So he became the de facto leader.
Okay.
And as the albums went on, and they had different replacements for DeGarmo, that he started according to the other members, discounting their ideas.
Oh.
And he was bringing in ghost players to play on the albums.
Yes.
And not listen. And then he did some really odd choices. Like, he brought in his wife as manager. One of his daughters handled the fan club and merch. And they did this one tour. I forget what year it was. It was called Queensryche Cabaret, where they had, like, background dancers.
That sounds weird.
And Jeff performed, like, in a robe and underwear.
Interesting.
So I can't imagine why the other members of the band started to hate him.
Yeah.
But it was just, I remember at the time going, well, that's odd. And I saw a picture again recently. I'm like, that's really fucking odd.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going along with that. I mean, I get it. I get why the other guys kind of wanted him out.
Yeah.
And the album that they did, the last album they did with him was called Dedicated to Chaos. And most of it's just a pop record.
Okay. And what name is it under?
It's a Queensryche album.
So
it's the final one they did with him. And I think there's some good stuff on it, but it sounds like a Jeff Tate solo record.
Okay.
And so they had a big blow up before a show in Brazil. And I think they did one more show after that, then he was out. Mm-hmm. Then those lawsuits over the name. They had their new singer went out. Queensryche, he went out as Queensryche starring Jeff Tate. And, you know, finally, after 2 years, they had to buy him out of all the Queensryche companies. Mm-hmm. So he has continued on as a solo artist. And then he started a new project with a revolving lineup of musicians under the name Operation Mindcrime. Mm-hmm. And they put out 3 albums. And they're a mixed bag. There's some really great stuff on them, and there's some really bland stuff. And I think the mix on the second album is terrible. But that's just me being nerdy. But
it's part of your charm, dear.
Yeah. Tate and his solo band embarked on the Empire 30th Anniversary Tour, which was cut short by the COVID-19 pandemic. And I saw him in Philly, I guess, 2 weeks before everything shut down. Mm-hmm. And it was great. His solo band sounded great. They did an opening set of the Rage for Order album in its entirety. And then did a break, and then the Empire album in its entirety, plus the song Last Time in Paris, which was in the Andrew Dice Clay movie Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Mm-hmm. That was part of the encore, and Eyes of a Stranger.
And when was that one? That was right before. Was it?
That was February. No, it was right after we started dating. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I was like, I knew you sent me a video of it, and I couldn't remember if it was a video that you took before we started dating.
No, I had tickets before we started dating.
Yeah.
And
I think we literally just started dating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that tour was cut short, but he resumed it this year to finish off the dates. And Queensryche, what's left of that band?
Yeah.
They Scott Rockenfield had left, so you just had 2 original members left. And they spent 2020 and 2021 doing scattered shows here and there and writing new material.
Yeah.
And then just this month in October, drummer Scott Rockenfield sued the other 2 remaining original members, Michael Wilton and Eddie Jackson, and their associated companies for breach of contract, shareholder oppression, wrongful discharge, because he says they fired him. Because he took time off to be his wife. She was having a difficult pregnancy. So he didn't tour with the band, but he still says he had input in the business dealings, but then they fired him. Breach of artist agreement and violations of Washington Personality Rights Act. Whatever that is.
I have no idea.
But also came out during all this is that the original 5 members of Queensryche had been in early talks for a reunion.
Oh, nice.
But this lawsuit has probably completely fucked that.
Yeah.
Even Chris DeGarmo was thinking about it.
Wow.
Chris had left, after he left in 97, he became a pilot, professional pilot.
Okay.
And he also did a side project called...
Imagine getting on his plane.
I know. He did a side project called Spies for Darwin, which was him, Vinny, the singer from the band Sponge, and the drummer and bassist from Alice in Chains. Huh. They recorded a whole bunch of stuff, but they only released an EP, which I think it's streaming, the EP. And then he played with Jerry Cantrell of Alice in Chains, played in his solo band. And he's done some stuff with his daughter. They released like an EP. And he played with was it Chris Cornell's daughter at the Chris Cornell tribute? I think it was her he played with.
Oh.
It was like earlier this year or last year.
Yeah.
So
last year.
And then in 2003, he was tentatively going to rejoin Queensryche.
Yeah.
He played on some of their Tribe album, and they did a photo shoot with him. But he did, like, I think, like 3 or 4 songs on the album. Then he was like, "Nah, I can't do this."
Huh.
So they photoshopped him out of the picture. Because I've seen the picture they used in the album.
Yeah.
I've seen the original where he's in the picture.
Oh, funny.
And the picture on the album, he's not in it. So it would be quite a feat
I feel like
to get him to rejoin. But if he was going to do it and this drummer fucked it all up,
yeah,
that's messed up.
that would have been.
I mean, I think to get him to rejoin, they wouldn't be touring as much as they do. Mm-hmm. I think he'd probably just be like festivals, big shows,
Right, yeah.
now and then, instead of just getting. I guess at his age, I don't think he wants to haul ass like in a U-Haul or whatever across country or a bus and like a trailer,
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like like Queensryche, I think is a very well-known band. I don't think that there's many people that probably don't know who the band is. So but I feel like the larger or the more famous you get, the more legal issues you have.
Yeah, because as soon as you bring money into it,
right?
But
there's so many things, and
it's a shame to see how it's like ended up, but
yeah,
it's still a great record. Mm-hmm. Still love it.
It is a great record. Very much so.
And especially when you get it for $1.
And especially when you get a promotional used treasure in the bargain bin.
Yeah, even if it does skip a little bit.
That's right.
It's very warm,
but that's all right.
Yeah,
it's loved.
It's loved. And I can always get out the CD if I want to hear it play perfectly.
There you go. Yeah, I rather have. I mean, like I said earlier, there's that divide between vinyl collectors, but I rather have the original a little more beat up than a pristine re-release issued, because like we've discussed before, I don't think we've discussed on the show, but we've discussed how sometimes with the newer reissues, you don't know if you're getting an actual sound from a digital copy.
Yeah, or because are they mastered from a digital file? It's like, well, you're going from digital down to analog.
Right, so then, you're not getting what it's supposed to sound like. So, of course, and everybody will argue.
And then what's your digital source?
Right.
Is it high quality, or are you complete... is the label being complete cheap shits and using MP3s? You don't know. You don't know.
And my personal opinion is I like the older. I like it. I like that sound from the first pressings.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the CD though.
Yeah. Well, like you said, have the first pressing. But if it skips, you can go listen to it on the CD.
Or you can be a complete ass and I can just go listen on Spotify.
Yeah, that's true.
Or you can listen to our Spotify playlist, which will be going along with this episode.
Yes.
And will feature my music. I don't know if any of Bobbie's music will be on there.
Probably not.
But you know what? We've been surprised before.
That is true.
When we did our record road trip episodes, some of the stuff you bought, I was like, "There's no way this stuff's gonna be on Spotify."
Yeah, and it was.
And some of the stuff I bought wasn't.
I know. Yeah, so it's very interesting what you can find out there and what you can't. And that's another reason why you need to go and support the bands and singers and songwriters on their own
website. Buy the merch from them.
Buy the merch.
Because they don't make shit off of streaming.
They don't make shit off of streaming. Do you hear that, kids?
It's something like, I think it's something like 5,000 streams that equal like one album sale or something like that. I might be conservative. I might be way under.
No, it's something ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But, so yeah, you definitely want to support them and buy their, buy the actual... Buy
the CD. Buy a shirt from them.
Anything to support them, and don't just listen to streaming, because you know what? You're not, some of the, like we just said, some of the stuff that we mentioned aren't on those sites at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes
like,
they are.
I could have, like recently, I could have easily just streamed the new Circus of Power EP online. Yeah. But I bought the CD from them. Yep. And they threw in a bunch of cool stickers.
That's right.
That Hannah's not getting.
There you go.
And, I have a package on the way from the band Jet Boy.
Yeah.
I bought a couple CDs from them. I almost bought a shirt too.
Or like for me, like in our last episode when I purchased straight from DaxRigs.com, I had no idea this shit was all coming signed.
Yeah.
But it all came signed with extra stickers and really cool stuff.
Like, I pre-ordered the new Armored Saint Live CD.
Yeah.
And it came with a signed booklet by all 5 members.
Yeah.
I mean, I go back and forth on whether sign means anything. It's like, whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
It always makes me excited.
I think it gives more of a connection between the artist
and
that item.
Yeah, I agree. And I sometimes like to go and be delusional and be like, it's just for me.
Yeah.
But so the point of our rant on that one is
support the artist.
Support the artist.
And you know how else you can support an artist?
You can support artists by also
going to bittersweetandtwistedrecords.com.
That's right. And
where we have all of our links for Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Stitcher, where you can check out the podcast.
Yes.
We have a link to our eBay store where you can buy records and CDs and cassettes.
Yep.
And we got some posters up and some movies.
Yes.
I got a dancing hula Homer Simpson in the box.
Somebody should really want
only
this
$10.
Awesome dancing hula dashboard Homer.
Yeah.
Yes.
And got that. I got a set of nesting Elvis dolls.
Somebody out there
like
wants...
the Russian nesting dolls.
Yes.
You know, little one goes inside the big one. The big one keeps going up and up and up. I think it's only like $10-15.
Somebody must want an Elvis that
comes
in all sizes.
Please take it from us. But you know, it's a lot of stuff. You know, we love music a lot. Some of the stuff. There's been a couple of things we've discussed in the podcast that are in the store.
Yes.
So, you know, if you hear us talking about something on here that we're not going on and on about, it might be in the store. Like, you're not going to see this Queensryche record in the store. You're not going to see Dax Riggs in the store.
Nope.
But
you could learn from us and learn a little something, we hope, and maybe spark an interest of a band that you've never listened to before, or learn something new that you didn't know about the band.
Yeah. And I'm going to go back to whoring things.
Oh, he's going to be a hoe.
Go to our TeePublic store, where you can buy T-shirts, record
Our logo's
totes.
super cool.
I know. I said back in like episode 3 that I was going to put another T-shirt design up.
Yeah.
And I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
I have it ready. I just haven't uploaded it.
Yes.
Maybe by the time you hear this one, it'll be up.
There we go.
But if it's not, it'll be maybe sometime. And then, like, we always have a Spotify playlist that goes along with each episode.
Yes.
Where we feature all the music that we blabber on about.
Yes.
So there will be an episode to go with this. Those links are also at bittersweetandtwistedrecords.com.
And on that note, we're going to take a short break and then come back, and I'm going to talk about my music that I found.
And I have something to say about that.
Okay.
All
right. See you in a minute.
And welcome back to the Bittersweet and Twisted Records podcast.
Yes.
With me, Vince.
And me, Bobbie.
And it is Bobbie's turn.
Yes.
To talk about a record.
And I'm going to go ahead and already say it. Like, I...
What?
Couldn't remember that I thought I got
this record. You thought you bought this on the record road trip.
And you bought this for me.
For...
my birthday.
Yes. This year.
Yes, this year.
I bought it the same day I bought a Johnny Thunders live record for her.
For me, that's right.
And I had to sit on them for 3 months before I gave them to her for her birthday. And I had to keep my mouth shut about it for 3 months. And here she was thinking she bought it in the she thought she bought it in a bargain bin too.
And
let me tell you, this record's not from a bargain bin.
Yes, it's not, because this album is not something that you're going to find.
If this is on Spotify, anywhere. I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah, and so we're going to be shocked if it's on there. But I guarantee probably some of the original songs are on Spotify. Yeah. But we'll go from there. So this album that I have in front of me is by the band Deviants, and the title's called Human Garbage. Mm-hmm. What's interesting about the Deviants is it was basically a whole bunch of couple guys getting together and doing jam out sessions and decided to hang out and go and play some of the music. So,
and what music would that be?
Good old punk rock.
And who are these guys?
So these
who
guys,
are these old geezers?
Yeah. So first, I want to talk about this.
Well,
album.
I guess they weren't old geezers. What year did it come out?
This was recorded in February 9th, 1984, in London at London's famous Dingwalls.
Okay.
I would love to visit Dingwalls. Dingwalls was really well known in that time, in that period in the 80s, and mostly probably more likely more famous in the early 70s, late 60s,
I used
early
to have
70s.
A promotional EP from the Pez band that they had recorded at Dingwalls. I think it was 78, maybe.
Yeah, so Dingwalls is a famous live music venue that sits inside of a market in the town of Camden in London. It opened in 73. It holds approximately 500 people. This was a popular hangout, like I said, for musicians over in that time period. Which I always get mesmerized, even though I know the 70s really weren't that far long ago.
Yeah, they were.
Well, I mean, we were born in the 70s, so we're only 40. But
we're only 40?
Yes, that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
But that time period, a lot of the bands that were popular...
Wait. I did the math. We can't be 40 and be born in the 70s.
But we were born in the 70s.
But we can't be 40 then.
Well, we're in our 40s.
Okay.
That's what I said. I was just going with the 40.
No, you said the 40.
Well, yeah, why you gotta ruin it? Nobody knows.
I'm sure they were doing the math too.
Well, now that he just messed up my podcast, let me start back over.
Your podcast.
My podcast.
Whoa.
So anyway, but I always...
Welcome to the Bittersweet and Records podcast with Bobbie.
That's right. So, but anyway, back to what I was saying, which was interesting. It doesn't seem that long ago, but to me it still seems far away to think like some of the bands that were popular that were hanging out in London at this time were famous New York bands like Blondie. And so I'm just like, oh, so wow, that was a long ship ride. But
a ship ride? Yeah, they had planes back then.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh wow, they could just get on a plane back then.
Die of gout on the ship ride over there.
I know.
Oh God, I hope they had some oranges.
Oh, dysentery.
Yeah.
Dysentery on their long trip from New York to hang out at Dingwalls in London. But anyway, so like I said, this was a popular hangout for musicians, especially during the early punk rock era, which is, as some of our listeners, hopefully we have some devout listeners, know that's my favorite time period in music.
I think those dudes in Germany know. They're about the only people that listen to every episode.
But I love the punk rock era, and specifically and the English London era of the early 70s, late 70s. I just love it. It's just something about that sound I just love. So anyway, so Dingwalls, many artists were there from like Blondie. They played The Clash. Actually, the cover of the first Clash album was the picture of the guys standing actually, and Dingwalls is behind them. So it's been used in many things, like the Ramones played there, the Damned, and so on. So what's really cool about Dingwalls is it's still open today and it's still happening. It's now split up to not just like a market, but it has market, it has vendors in there, it has shops, it has 3 active bars, it has an active music scene there. So it's still pumping out like great sounds and good music, and it's really cool. You can actually go on and learn about the history of Dingwalls, which I kind of got on a sidetrack, and it's very easy for me to get sidetracked. And I went online to learn a little bit more about Dingwalls, and I thought it was super cool. You can go and learn the history about it and see some of the vendors that they have there, and they still have some of the classic punk clothing stores there, just what you expect that you would think that you would see. And I don't know, I'm ready to take a trip there. But this album was also recorded there in 84 in February. It's recorded on the records, Psycho Records, which is in London somewhere. I don't have it exactly. So who's made up and who's in the Deviants?
That is a good question.
Yes. So it's made up of the singer Mick Farren and friends.
Who was Mick Farren?
Mick Farren is a famous journalist in London. And he just, he also played music, and he was friends with lots of people. One such friend is the former MC5 guitarist Wayne Kramer, as well as guitarist Larry Wallace from the band The Pink Fairies, and Duncan Sanderson, who's also from the Pink Fairies, on bass. And the drummer, George Butler, George Butler's resume, it goes from playing with Ian Dury, the Kilborns, Elvis Costello, this goes on and on and on.
It's funny though, just on the back cover, like everyone's instrument, like vocals, guitar, it's like, capital first letter, lowercase, rest of the letters. Duncan Sanderson, it says bass in all caps.
Yes, all caps. So the album is a yellow album, very punk rock looking, has different photographs of Wayne Kramer and Mick Farren and others on the front, and then it has the Deviants, real etched and human garbage underneath of it. But what's cool about this album, that's nothing. Like I said, it wasn't like they got together. It was more like Mick Farren's like, I want to go and play some music, and he's like, I just want to jam out. So he calls up good old friend Wayne Kramer, and Wayne comes over and says, all right, let's just start putting this together. So what's neat about it is all the songs are cover songs, and but it's definitely has a little punk twist to them all, which I really enjoy. So most of the songs are songs that were written by Larry Wallace. And then you have some Mick Farren songs in here too. So Mick Farren was a journalist, but he was also known for writing music for musicians and things like that. So so the first song, Outrageous Contagious, that was originally on Mick Farren and the Deviants record Screwed Up. So they did do another one. Number 2 is Broken Statue, which was also a Mick Farren single from 78, which was later on the Pink Fairies album, because Mick Farren also wrote songs for some of the Pink Fairies, Kill 'Em and Eat 'Em. Number 3, Ramblin Rose, which you might know this song. Do you remember that? That name sound familiar? Okay, which is originally an MC5's song, which is off of Kick Out the Jams. Oh, it's a great album. And then number 4, we got Hey Thanks, which was written by Wayne Kramer. And originally the song was on the Johnny Thunders and Wayne Kramer's Gang War. Number 5 is Screwed Up, which is a Mick Farren and a Deviant song. Number 6, I Want a Drink. That's also originally on Mick Farren's Vampire Stole My Lunch Money. Great title. Number 7 is Taking LSD, which was originally on the Pink Fairies' Kill 'Em and Eat 'Em album. And then you have Police Car, which was originally a Larry Wallace single in 78. And then the last song, 9, Trouble Coming Every Day, which is a Frank Zappa song, originally on the Mothers of Invention Freak Out LP. Sorry, I'm almost hit Vince in the eyeball with my papers.
Yeah, I would not like that paper cut on my eye.
Yeah. But, the album is really cool. It has those 9 songs on it. And like I said, most of them are all covers. But it's just a fun set. And I just like to, when I'm listening to it, because it just has that nice, raw punk sound to it. It's just, I like to think that, just sitting there jamming out to them. At Dingwalls.
When you're sitting there listening to it.
Yeah.
Do you sit there and congratulate yourself for finding it in the bargain bin? Or do you go, gosh, Vince is such a good boyfriend for getting this for me?
Yes, when you said no, you didn't. I was like, oh, you got it for me. And I'm like, I have such a good boyfriend. And I do. And I tell you that all the time. So. Mm-hmm. But it's a really great album. It's fun. Like, it's just on, the album's really clean.
Yeah.
And
because I went in to get the Johnny Thunders album and a Stiv Vader's album.
Yes.
But the Stiv was a reissue, and I was like, eh. Then I saw that, and I was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
I was like, this is much better than a Stiv reissue.
Yeah, it's just awesome. I don't know. It's just that little piece of punk history, and it's just how it's, At Dingwalls, which has such another memorable time period for punk rock. Dingwalls is like what it is, and where you had CBGBs in New York, and all those other places that are like on my. I'm gonna create a punk rock guidebook. That's what we should do.
Really?
Yeah, we're places to visit. I mean, I know some places aren't there, but just to visit the area. I don't know.
I'm gonna do a guidebook on
Yeah.
all the places that M. Night Shyamalan has filmed in the area.
There you go.
I'm full of shit. I'm not gonna do that. That's too much work. I'm like, yeah, I know he filmed here.
But anyway, if you are a fan of early punk rock, check this album out, The Deviants, Human Garbage. It's easy to get through. I mean, it is a punk album, so those 9 songs are not going to be very long. It won't take a lot of your day.
If you like Wayne Kramer, check it out.
Wayne Kramer, absolutely. Yeah. If you don't know who Wayne Kramer is, please find out.
Go fuck yourself. No,
don't do that. We want to educate. Go find out and learn and listen to, his other stuff.
Yeah, listen to some MC5.
Oh, yes.
He even played on the last Alice Cooper album came out.
Yeah.
Detroit Stories, he's on that.
So he's still around and still making...
Still rocking. Still touring with a version of MC5.
You don't know who the MC5 are? I'm sure I eventually will probably do an episode about them because...
Why not?
They're fantastic, and if I'd like to educate others if they don't know who MC5 are, I mean, it's just fantastic. I mean, they didn't have tons and tons of albums,
tons and tons of bootlegs,
tons and tons of bootlegs,
tons of live bootlegs.
But they were a fantastic band, so that really was pretty pivotal in the music history. So that's my short and sweet episode of the Deviants.
Yeah, so we switched places again, where I did the more mainstream one and Bobbie did the obscure one.
Yeah. I
might have to change that next episode.
Yeah.
I'll have to find out who she's doing and then counter-program to that.
Counter-program. Yeah, and like I said, you might not find these songs under the Deviants. You may.
Might have to find the original. We might have to find the originals.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of gave
them
to you.
I mean, I don't want to take money from everyone. I'm sure this album's probably on YouTube.
Yeah.
I roll. I mean, I'm sure it's on Discogs. You should. I don't know how much it is on Discogs, but if you like old punk rock, it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, it should be in a collection.
It'll be worth like $25-$30 to get.
Yeah.
Just do it.
But put it in your collection. I mean, it is what it is. And it's a great album. I love it. I love listening to it.
Good.
Nice. Yeah,
I'm glad.
I do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's a great album. So
that brings us to the end of another episode.
Boop boopy doo.
All right. Check out bittersweettandtwistedrecords.com
and listen to the correlating podcast music.
The Spotify playlist.
Yep, that's what I was trying to get out. The playlist.
Playlist. Yep. I mean, it'll be a bunch of Queensryche on there and some of this. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, you can find the MC5 and the Pink Fairies.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
and the Frank Zappa song.
And the Frank Zappa, absolutely.
I mean, but again, you never know. Deviants might be on there.
We've been shocked before, so.
Yeah, some of that old, obscure rockabilly stuff you had was on there, and I couldn't believe it.
Yes. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Share, like, follow.
Give a positive review.
You have some ideas. Let us know. Yeah.
And we will see you again in 2 weeks. Maybe.
Goodbye.